do we know what our purpose for life is? That's the next question that y'all have submitted. How do we know what our purpose for life is? And so I'm not exactly sure what this question is intending to ask. It can really be asking one of two things. And one is, what is the purpose of life? Why are we as people put here on earth? What is our overall purpose? Or this question could mean, what does God want me to do with my life? You know, am I supposed to be a missionary? Am I supposed to be a doctor? You know, that type of question. So I want to tackle this in two parts. So first, we're going to look at what is the purpose of mankind? Why are we here on earth? And to answer this question, I think the best place to look is the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is written by the wisest man who ever lived, which is King Solomon. And in it, King Solomon is just kind of tracing his life, looking to one thing after another, looking for purpose, looking for meaning. He says, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. And if you read the book, it's actually kind of depressing because you're like, this dude's not happy. He's not finding purpose in anything. He looks to his work. He looks to his money. He looks to things like sex. He looks to alcohol, to even artistic things like music or gardening, things like that. And yet they all come short. But in the last bit of the book of Ecclesiastes, he writes this in chapter 12, verses 13 and 14. He says, the end of the matter, all has been heard. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For God will bring every deed into judgment with every secret thing, whether good or evil. And so what Solomon is saying here, as he's traced all these things, he's like, the only thing that has value, the only thing that has true value and purpose is to fear God and keep his commands. And so we can take from this, as well as some other teachings throughout the Bible, that the purpose of us being here on earth is to glorify and honor God. In fact, one catechism asks the question, what is the chief end of man? Which is basically asking, what's the primary goal of mankind? And the answer is the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. And so that's our purpose here on life. And that's the purpose of every man, woman, child here on earth, is to glorify God in all things. But now, if the question you submitted is asking, how do I know what God is specifically calling me to do? How do I know what school to go to? How do I know what occupation to choose? That's going to be different because for each person, that's going to be different. God calls some people to be pastors, some people to be missionaries. He calls some people to be doctors, some people to be plumbers, some people to be electricians. There's so much different avenues in which we can honor and glorify God. And so the question I would ask you, if you're contemplating that question, is in your decision making, whether you're trying to find God's purpose for what college to go to, if to go to college at all, if you're trying to figure out what career choice to go down, I would ask you to ask yourself, what can I do in this moment that will glorify God the most? And whatever leads to glorifying God the most is your answer. So for some, that's going to be going to school and getting an engineering degree so that they can serve God well in the engineering field. For some, it's going to be going to a Bible college and getting a Bible degree so maybe they can be a pastor one day. It's so different. So if that's you, if you're contemplating that, I would encourage you to talk to your parents. I would encourage you to talk to your pastors or other leaders that you trust. Help them or talk with them to help you determine your passions, your giftings, and what God may be calling you to do. Because there's not a one cut and dry answer for everyone, except for the fact that whatever we should do should lead to glorifying God the most, because that's the whole reason we're here on earth. And so if we fail to do that, then we will fail at our purpose.